got this, Kevin.
What is up, guys? Kevin Burrell here, back with the Paws Up Podcast. Today we are joined by a very, very special guest, but before that, I am here with my co-host and good friend Jake Gibson. Jake, what's up? We have a very cool guest today.
Oh, yeah, the head coach of FIU men's soccer, Kyle Russell. How's it going, Kyle?
Good, guys. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
We're extremely excited to have you. Before we get into the interview, just, as usual, like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube or wherever you're watching the podcast, because we put out the best FIU Panthers content, when it comes to the podcast. So let's just get right into it, Kyle. How would you assess your season? You guys get to the Sweet 16. You guys win, I believe it was the, I want to say, American Championship. That is what you guys won. You guys got all the way to the end. You won it. Then you go on to the NCAA tournament. Unfortunately, you guys fall in the Sweet 16, but a lot to be proud of about this group, how far they got. And, you look at that game against New Hampshire just to get to Duke, you get into the Pens. I believe it was 13 rounds. How would you describe this season, Kyle?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. No, I appreciate the kind words. In the beginning of the season, we talk about 3 trophies, and we have a young coaching staff. We're the youngest coaching staff in the top 25 of the teams that are ranked nationally. So for us, we're very ambitious, and we're not afraid to project our goals onto the team, and we recruit guys that want to win. So for us, winning 3 trophies is what we talk about in the beginning of preseason and even in the recruiting process. And that first trophy is winning the conference regular season, which is what we did in the American Athletic Conference. The second trophy is winning the conference tournament, which we were able to host at home, which is really special to be able to do in front of our own fans in Miami. And then the third one is obviously the national championship, which I am currently watching now from the comfort of my couch. So the third one we weren't able to achieve. However, if you look at how far we've come from COVID until now, the last 2.5 years. Last year alone, we had 9 brand new starters on our roster. And for us to be able to go to Sweet 16 and arguably be the better team in that game, at least statistically, it's nothing to be ashamed of. We're excited, we're encouraged, and we're very optimistic about the future.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, what would you say are some of the most valuable lessons you learned about this season? And with those lessons, how can you take those to the upcoming season?
Well, I think some of the lessons that our staff learned was that, we talk about, we train at an intensity level that's different than the rest of the country. And we were able to see that pay off in our games and the confidence level of our group. And our guys, they don't just talk smoke. You know what I mean? They believe what they say, and they believe that we can beat anybody in the country. And we were able to show that in multiple times throughout the season. Going on the road, playing Chapel Hill on the road is very difficult to do. Getting there is a little tricky, and then playing that right before you go into conference is a challenge. And we were able to win that when we needed to, and it gave our guys a lot of belief and confidence. And they were like, "Hold on a second. We are as good as we thought we were," right? So, so that was good. It obviously gave a huge confidence boost to Stephen Afrifa, who's just finished the MLS Combine today. And we're hoping he's a first-round draft pick here next week. So I think that was a lesson for the guys that what we're doing, it works. And we're not a one-hit wonder. We're not a one-trick pony. We played many different players in many different positions, and we were able to build upon the success we had last year. And man, I cannot wait for the next season to start already.
You talk about confidence, and you also spoke about home field. I was there for a couple games this season, and you guys definitely have the home field advantage, and you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about all the athletics get together to go support your team. The fans, that rainy game against New Hampshire, there was a lot of people You would have maybe expected not many people because of the rain, but that was almost a full packed out house. Coach, how important is having the fans there? And if you have a message for them, for next season to come out and support the FIU men's soccer team, go for it.
Yeah, my message would be, if you enjoyed last season and you were excited about what was happening, just wait until next August. It's going to be more exciting, more fun. It's going to be one of those environments that we continue to grow and build, and we're always looking to make it more comfortable and exciting for the fans. And look, we want to bring in top teams into Miami. So as soon as I saw UNH and how good they were, we made sure that we scheduled them again to come play us in Miami next year. And so we have a lot of very good teams on our schedule because we believe we're one of the best teams in the country, and we want to prove that to anybody who thinks they're as good. And look, I've been coaching for a while now, and I've never seen the turnout that I saw at FIU at 1 p.m. On a Sunday against USF. I mean, my kids don't even like to be outside in Miami when it's that hot at 1 p.m. We had the stands completely packed. We had people lined up on the fence. There was music playing. There was people hanging over the fence with smoke bombs. It was pretty cool. And same thing with the rainy night game against UNH, man. The support from the student body and the community and even the other sports teams like baseball and many other sports. I mean, it was pouring. We were soggy for days afterwards, and to see all the fans out there, man, and then running onto the field and celebrating. There's a lot of cool memories. We made sure we went through that with the guys at the end of the season, like kind of hey, let's reflect back on the season. Let's take a moment and reminisce and go through all the memories. And you don't walk around this campus with your head down like you're ashamed. Because we didn't get that third trophy. Be excited, be encouraged, be proud, and then stay hungry for next season.
Yep.
So, and I kind of want to reiterate how crazy that New Hampshire game ultimately was with the weather conditions. Obviously, it made the field super sloppy, and then heading into PKs. What was the mood from the players as well as the staff during that 2-hour delay? During which I don't know what the team was doing, but how was it?
Yeah, so we talk about in preseason, we talk about the type of players we want to have here at FIU, and not everybody understands the terminology that we use sometimes, so we have to break it down even further. So we'll talk about a blue collar team, right? We'll talk about a team that's fearless, that will play anybody, anytime, anywhere. And a team that has a chip on their shoulder. And that was a fun one to explain to some of my international players. They're like, Coach, what do you mean chips on shoulders? Like Doritos on our shoulders? I do not understand. So we've had a lot of fun with some of the terminology, but one of the things we talk about in preseason is, the type of players we want are the guys that you can knock on their door, right? This is obviously an analogy, but you can knock on their door at any time. At 3 a.m. in the morning, knock on their door and say, hey, we got a game. And they say, okay, let's go. And they grab their boots and they're ready to play. There's no excuses. There's no reason for them not to be ready. So obviously we talk about stay ready, so you don't have to ever get ready. And so, yeah, our guys were ready. As soon as they saw rain, they've been through it so much in South Florida with the hurricanes and tropical storms and the soggy fields. Now it's almost a joke when we go to other teams. We're like, man, I hope it rains because it'll feel like home. If it rains up in Chapel Hill, or if it rains in Raleigh at Duke, like the more rain, the better. That's what we know. So.
So the players really like the rainy conditions.
Cool. I walked into the locker room and they're all dancing.
Wow.
I don't know if they like it, but they were able to turn what could be perceived as a negative into a positive.
Well, that's awesome. Coach, something that I'm amazed about with this soccer team is the different parts of the world that your players come from. Could you just give us a deep dive into how you and your staff have been so successful in finding talent, not just in a South Florida level, but in a global level as well?
Yeah. Obviously, we're always looking. We start with South Florida, and obviously the rest of the state, and then work out regionally. But man, we're Florida International University, and we take pride in that name. And we don't care where we find talent. It's just about finding the talent that matches the character. And so I think that's what sets us apart in the recruiting process. I can't tell you how difficult it is to get 14 different cultures and 14, 15 different languages all to operate and move in the same direction in unity. But I think that's the gifting that's inside of the coaching staff to be able to foster that environment. So it's a lot of fun. We enjoy it. But yeah, there is a lot of comedy within our locker room between the different accents, languages being spoken, and obviously a lot of different cultural normalities that we may not see here in the U.S. often. But we spend a ton of time on the character. So the character. We will do interviews upon interviews upon interviews, cross-reference, and make sure they are who they said they are.
You brought up something that I was actually kind of wondering about with a team this diverse. Is there a noticeable language barrier, or is that sort of cleansed out by the fact that you're all playing soccer and it's a worldwide sport?
Yeah, I think sometimes announcers or analysts of other teams when we're traveling will make that joke. I don't know how they communicate to one another, and I chuckle at it because it's like, hey, we're a top public institution. Like, they have to be able to speak English at a high level to be able to be accepted into our university. And we're not just playing soccer here, right? So no, it's there. I think the trickiest thing is as you can see in the World Cup, right? Yeah. Every different country has their own philosophy and how the game should be played. And so I think that is one of the most difficult things, is getting everyone to play one brand of football, or one brand of soccer, as we would call it in America. The English is not difficult. It actually makes me a better human being because I can't rely on half sentences. I can't rely on one-liners. I can't rely on sarcasm. I have to really be good at explaining my thoughts simply.
So, Coach, as you may or may not know, we had the pleasure to talk to Scott Carr in episode 3 last week, and one of the things that he brought up was he highlighted the importance of stadium improvements for a lot of the sports, but most importantly, soccer. What changes would you personally like to see to the soccer stadium and some of the soccer facilities on campus?
Well, let's see. How much time
Scott
you guys
Carr
have?
might be listening, so
And I'm honestly, man, one of the biggest reasons that our staff and myself want to continue to stay here and build here. It's not just because we love the institution, that what we're doing at FIU, but man, we have awesome leadership. We have a really exciting president. We have a really exciting athletic director, and a lot of other people that are supporting them and are operating around them. So I've had this conversation with Scott Carr, and it's easy, man, because he's a stand-up, honest guy, and it's really refreshing to work with him. We joke that we have a field, not so much a soccer stadium. We have a field and some bleachers scattered around there. So we would just love it to be all-encompassing and to be able to operate out of the soccer stadium and have storage there and locker rooms and suites and make it more comfortable for fans. And I think that would, I know that's in the works. I know it's something that we're trying to get blueprints for, and so yeah, no, we're excited. But yeah, the more that we can make things centralized and operate out of one area, the easier it'll be for us. But man, I tell you what, when that does get built, FIU is I say FIU men's soccer is a problem now. There's no turning back once we get a stadium.
Oh yeah. I wanted to ask you, has there ever been any maybe consideration to play in the FIU football stadium? It has the suites, it has the capacity, and I'm pretty sure there's been soccer play there before. So has that ever been a thought maybe?
Yeah. So Miami FC, the pro team, plays there.
Yeah.
So, it definitely is something that we can do. However, there's a couple of difficulties, right? Scheduling with football training and ours. Like we're big fans of the new football coach, Coach Mack, and we want him to be super successful. So we don't want to be competing over the same space, but also, just soccer players in general just enjoy playing on natural grass like that. Yeah. I get that question all the time from recruits. Hey, coach, so I'm from Norway and I'm playing in New York, but I'm transferring and I'm looking to play on real grass because I haven't done that in about 10 years. So do you guys play on real grass? So it is something that soccer players are very passionate about doing if they have the opportunity to do so. So, we played a preseason game against Stetson on it, and that was fine. We won the game 7-0. So it's not like it takes away from what we want to do. But we just enjoy the grass feel more and the intimacy of the fans when they're closer to the field. It's going to be pretty hard to fill up that football stadium and not make it feel empty.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Coach, I wanted to ask you, if you can describe this FIU Panthers team in 2022 in one word, what would it be?
Coach? Kyle, you still there? It's a deep question, I know, but
he's completely frozen. Oh, there we go. You there, Kyle?
I'm sorry, man. You're breaking up. It's hard to hear that question.
I wanted to ask you, if you can describe the 2022 FIU men's soccer team in one word, what would it be?
Ruh-roh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Driven. I would say driven, man. They showed up every day for training. They didn't care who we played, and they knew that they may not have accomplished every goal, but they were going to accomplish as many as possible, no matter what the circumstances. And they wanted to make sure they left FIU men's soccer better than where they found it. So driven for me would be the word.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, before we get into some fun questions, Coach, if you just want to talk a little bit about the guys that stood out to you this season on the team and, why are you excited about next season with that group of guys that you're excited about?
Yeah. Well, the guys that, I'm probably going to miss the most are the seniors, right? We had some warriors in the back. Carlos Scheckerman, he fractured his face.
Yeah.
And didn't miss a beat. And he was able to come back and play with the mask. He separated his shoulder. He was able to come back and play with the shoulder pad. He was an absolute warrior. So we'll miss him. David Garcia, Scholar All-American. He's the only guy on our team that started for 4 years. So under two different coaching staffs, the old staff and myself and our staff. So his leadership and experience for sure will miss a lot. There's a lot of other guys too, but I'm excited because we are returning some fifth-year seniors. We're returning Philip Hildebrandt from Denmark, who's a big-time player for us. Yushi Nagao, the Japanese player in midfield that has 3 lungs and never stops running. And then we have a couple other guys that, Bernardo dos Santos Montero. Everyone loves to say his name. He's number 7. He's flashy. He's fun to watch. He's a workhorse. And then, we're just now scratching the surface with guys like Joao Dominguez. He's 18 years old, true freshman from Portugal, never been to America, doesn't even understand college soccer. And he ends up winning the starting position and shutting down big-time wingers from all over the country and laughing and smiling while he's doing it. So, man, the sky's the limit for some of these kids, man. It's going to be very exciting.
I love to hear it.
All right, time for some fun rapid-fire questions. Kyle, are you ready?
Yes.
So what initially got you into soccer growing up?
The neighborhood I grew up in was not the safest of neighborhoods, and you had 2 choices: you played football or you played soccer. And I just, my parents put me in it when I was really young, and and that with a couple other sports. And when it came down to choosing, everybody has to make that choice at some point, unless you're Deion Sanders and you just are a stud and play 2 professional sports. I had to choose in high school whether I was going to do football or soccer. And, all my friends at that time were playing soccer, and I just wanted to do what they were doing. And, I will never forget that a buddy of mine named Vinny Banda, who stood up in my wedding. Like, I just wanted to hang out with him. So I was like, I'm just going to keep playing soccer. And I don't know if I'm going to keep growing and be big. And I feel like you can be small and still be good at soccer. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, man, my parents sacrificed a ton of hours driving me all over the Midwest for games. And, it's crazy now looking at life where I'm coaching and I've found my rhythm and my niche, I feel like. And man, I'm super grateful to God for the opportunity. And I look back and I'm like, man, who would have thought there's no way my parents would have thought driving me to Indiana across state borders to play a game in the middle of nowhere that one day I'd be coaching soccer at a top institution like FIU. So that's what got me into it.
Who is the best soccer player in the world right now?
Ooh, Lionel Messi, 100%. We're bringing him to Miami
there you
as
go.
soon as this World Cup's done.
So you're a big believer in that. You think it's going to happen?
He's coming. I'm telling you, he's coming. He's coming.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Don't tell too many people because I want to get tickets before he signs so I can get him at a good discount price.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
What soccer player, past or present, would you love to meet the most?
Ooh, man, that's tricky. Probably Fabio Cannavaro from Italy. He was like he's a small center back. He read the game so well. I looked up to him when I was a player. I was like, what player could I want to replicate my game? I play center back. I'm not the tallest, but I feel like I see things before they happen. So, and I watched him and I studied him. I even shaved my head like him, buzzed my head like him. So I would love to meet him because he was a guy I spent hours watching.
You have any photos?
Yeah, absolutely. I have photos of long hair when Beckham had long hair, and that was cool. And then I have photos of buzzed head as well when that was cool. So I've done it all, man. I've done it all.
Oh,
so
boy.
What's your favorite professional soccer club?
Ooh, domestic or international?
Both. Let's do both.
Okay. So domestic, I grew up in Chicago, so I went to Chicago Fire games, and I was always a Chicago Fire fan. But obviously being down here in Miami and getting to come to these games and watch something be built, I'm definitely jumping on the Inter Miami bandwagon. I don't know if it's a bandwagon yet because they haven't won trophies, so I'm jumping on board now.
Yeah.
Jump on now before they start winning.
Trying to think. And then internationally, yep, absolutely. So I can say I've been there in the beginning. Yeah, and then internationally, man, honestly, I've since I got into coaching so young, literally I got into it like 22 years old. I've really just been following coaches, like obsessed with following coaches and studying them and learning about them, from Jurgen Klopp to Bielsa to obviously Pep Guardiola to Jose Mourinho to Hansi, to all these different guys that, man, there's so many different ways to do what we do and be successful. There's not a one shoe fits all. And I love that. And I love learning why these guys would do what they do. But definitely growing up, I would have to say, we fell in love with watching Spanish football. We fell in love with watching El Clasico with Barcelona, Real Madrid. Now, growing up, I had Real Madrid posters on my wall. So I guess I'd have to go with them just based from my history.
Oh, okay. What is your favorite sport to watch besides soccer? Okay. Kyle, did you hear that?
You're gonna have to ask it again.
Yeah. Kyle,
what was that?
Yeah. Well, what's your favorite sport to watch besides soccer? Kyle?
My favorite what?
Your favorite sport to watch besides soccer?
Sorry, guys. It's hard to hear, man.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Man, playing another sport, it would have to be football. Going to a sport in person, it would have to be hockey. I went to a Florida Panthers game and it was awesome. Loved it. I want to go back. My kids loved it. My wife loved it.
Oh yeah, I'll agree with you there. Panthers are awesome. What was your position in football? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it was an awesome atmosphere, man.
Oh yeah. What was your
Yeah, I was a free safety. You played two sides of the ball when you're young. So free safety, wide receiver, and then I played as a running back. I was small. I was quickish, I guess. Mm-hmm. I must have grew up in a slow neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. So the last question I want to ask, because it's a heated debate with the World Cup and all, Peyton Manning and David Beckham are having arguments about this. Is the sport called soccer or football, I should say?
Oh, he's completely gone now.
Kevin, you back? Or not Kevin, Kyle?
Kyle? No, he is completely gone, disconnected. So,
can you hear me?
Oh, now
yeah, we hear you.
Perfect.
Oh, beautiful. The final question I had was, in your opinion, is the sport called soccer or football? Ooh.
I can see you guys. Can you see me?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. The final question I had, is the sport called soccer or football?
It's called soccer. It's called soccer only because I got beef with England right now. We played them in the World Cup, but you'll hear my in speeches before games. I say football because our team is heavily international, so I say football a lot. But we're American. I'm America. I'm American proud. So I say soccer. Soccer. USA.
Amen. We'll have to let Peyton Manning and David Beckham in on that one.
Yep. We'll let them know. When I'm there watching Messi play, I'll let Beckham know.
So Gustavo, who's watching our stream, had a question. We'll ask that real quick. What was your favorite win as both a player and a coach?
Man, favorite win as a player and a coach. Favorite win as a coach must have been against Marshall last year when they were number 1 in the RPI, the former national champions. It was on senior night. It was to win the conference, and it was my first season as a head coach, first full season as a head coach. So that one for sure. Last game of the regular season, it was awesome. It was even I watched the video back the other day, and I was like, man, what a cool moment that was, man. Not many people get to experience that. Coolest moment as a player. Probably for me being in the MLS Combine. It was a cool moment. I felt like back in, 2009, I was in MLS Combine, and it was just you were playing with the other best, 50 players in the country coming out of college soccer. So that was a cool moment for me, and I was like, man, I did something to where I was recognized as a top player. What happens next, I don't know. Obviously, I got into coaching early. But no, that was the cool moment for me as a player.
And the special question that I'll call it the Scott Carr question. What is your favorite food spot in Miami?
Favorite food spot in Miami. There's this place called Latins right around the corner from FIU. And I know that's probably not going to be, I'm not talking Wynwood, South Beach. I'm right around the corner from FIU, little spot called Latins. We go there with the coaching staff, and they treat us like gold. They're awesome Cuban coffee. The
Ooh.
meat is always fresh and perfectly
Ooh.
cooked, and it's reasonably priced. I'm all about a good deal.
Oh, so next
Love it.
time I go to FIU, what's your order? What's if I ask what's the Kyle Russell special? What am I getting?
Well, they're getting a cafe con leche with no sugar. They know that for sure. No, they see me now and they say no sugar. I say no sugar, and then they roll their eyes at me. And then, and honestly, I try and switch it up because I want to be able to say I've tasted anything that somebody's asked about. But tostones is a must. Sweet plantains is a must. Yeah, and the main meal is always switched with some form of meat for sure.
All right, that sounds absolutely amazing. I love Cuban food so much. All right, it is quickly time now for the Paws Up Podcast news break. Well, I'll be going over some of the biggest news in FIU and FIU athletics real quickly. We got 3 stories for you all. First one, it was announced only about a few hours ago. T.Y. Hilton, the 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver, has joined the Dallas Cowboys. If you may recall, during this offseason, he was silently cut from the Indianapolis Colts. He unfollowed them on Twitter about a few weeks ago, and now he's found a home with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Ezekiel Elliott in a very playoff caliber team. Next up, FIU Baseball has released their schedule. Their season opener is against the George Mason Patriots on February 17th through the 19th, and keep in mind, for students interested, their first 15 out of 16 games will be at home. And some of the notable matchups for FIU, they're going to take on the SEC school Missouri in late February, and 4 matchups against the University of Miami in both March and May. 2 at home and 2 on the road. And your final bit of FIU news, the Panthers have received a $3.2 million grant from the Army Corps of Engineers to research the 3D printing of ultra-high performance concrete, as Kevin pulls up the schedule there while I ramble on about concrete. As it's known, UHPC is more durable and lightweight than normal concrete while also being more water resistant and having a smaller carbon footprint. It's made using 3D printing, which provides the ability for creating complex designs in the click of a button, which would be a logistical breakthrough but is still plenty of years away. And that was your FIU news break. We got one more thing to talk with you about, Kyle. And in the spirit of soccer, let's talk a little bit of World Cup and let's make some predictions for the semifinals tomorrow and Wednesday. Let's start off with Argentina and Croatia on the 13th at 2 p.m. Who do you got, Kyle?
Argentina. Messi.
He's what's the over under for goals? How many is he getting?
I think he's getting a goal and an assist. And,
okay.
And I think it goes into overtime because Luka Modric is not going to let it not going to go down without a fight.
I concur. I'm going Argentina. Kevin, is this a sweep?
This is a hard one because I do like this matchup a lot, and I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna take Croatia. This will be my upset pick. I love Messi. I love Argentina. I think they're the favorites, but you have to keep in mind Croatia beat Brazil, I believe.
Yeah.
So they've already beat the top dog, one of the top dogs in the World Cup. So if they do it again, possibly. And you mentioned Kyle, they have Luka Modric, so. I really do like the Croatian team.
You realize that's like saying the Jaguars are going to beat the Buccaneers with Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. That's what you're saying right now, Kevin.
Kenny Pickett beat Tom Brady. So
okay,
Brock Purdy beat Tom Brady.
Okay. And the Wednesday game at 2 p.m., France versus Morocco. An incredible story, Morocco, but now they're taking on Mbappe in France. What say you, Kyle? Or not? Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah, as long as France. It'd be an awesome story for Morocco to win. I'm a big underdog guy, so it's hard to even say France. But man, France can score at any time, and the story of Gerard is pretty cool. They have a lot of players with really cool stories, and so does Morocco. But yeah, France all day, and I know why I should root for Morocco, but I'm not.
I sadly agree. I don't hate France by all means, but just the Morocco story is such a cool story. But I don't know. France is just they're a bit overpowered right now.
Yeah, Giroud wasn't even supposed to be starting or playing much. It was supposed to be Benzema, and now look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm going France. This will be a clean sweep.
Okay, we got a sweep. All right,
there we go. Good decision on that one.
So, in your opinion, Kyle, the World Cup final is Argentina and France. Who wins?
Yes. By the will of the people, Argentina. Pure. Everyone in the world will be, except for France, everyone in the world will be rooting for Messi if he makes it to the World Cup final. This is the one trophy that has eluded him. He's done after this. So, 100% Messi if he can make it there.
So Messi wins the World Cup, is known forever as the greatest player of all time, and he comes to Inter Miami and then wins a couple of MLS Cups as well.
Yep, and then we're all there watching the game together in press box seats.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. Before we give our final thoughts, Gustavo says, "Coach, go to Flagler and get some fritanga in your life."
Sounds fantastic. I'm gonna screenshot that. Did he type that in the chat, or where did he say that?
Yeah, he's watching it from Facebook, and he just, I guess we were talking about food. He got a little hungry, and he wanted to bring up Flagler and some fritanga.
Just screenshotted it. I have a assistant coach from Miami, so he shows us all the spots. He has not shown me that spot, so I'm going to be the guy driving tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Coach, you've been super awesome. We can't thank you enough for joining us today. Any final thoughts? Maybe one final message to the fans? Anything like that?
Yeah, man. Any FIU Panther fan for any sport should be encouraged and excited right now, man. There's a lot of exciting things happening that haven't been publicized yet. There's a lot of good people inside of the department. And man, what I'm seeing happen now in such a short time under new administration, it makes the next 3, 4, 5 years even more exciting. So this is just the beginning. There's going to be a lot more to be proud of if you're not already proud as a FIU alum, Panther, family, friend of the program. So keep an eye out for not just men's soccer, but many, many other sports.
Amen. That's what we're here for. Thank you so much again, Kyle.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Absolutely.
And with that, we will wrap it up. There we go, Kyle. Do you want to get some NFL predictions in?
Why the hell not? I know it was a soccer episode, but come on, man.
Come on. All right.
Football season is still
we
widely
still have a little sour taste in our mouth, with yesterday's game. But we can still get some predictions in. We won't predict the Monday night game, obviously.
That's currently going on. Can I get a score update, Kevin?
I will give you a score update. The Patriots are winning 7-3. Ramondre Stevenson's out for the Patriots now. Devontae Parker supposedly maybe going into concussion protocol. So,
damn, a lot of injuries in this game. Holy hell!
Yeah, and Kyler Murray also went down. So, I guess before we get into NFL predictions, your final thoughts on Kyle Russell? What an interview!
He's a cool dude. He's down to earth. He knows that the FIU fans are hungry for winning. They're hungry for chips, and he's delivering so far. And what can I say? He's not just a great coach, a great soccer coach. He's a big fan of the sport, and that definitely shows in his style of coaching, and that results into the success of the team. And like I said, it's just getting started. A lot of experienced players keeping with the squad, and despite moving from Conference USA to the American, he's made it look easy.
100%. And we were going to talk football if this interview couldn't go down, but we'll leave that for next week because we're already 38 minutes in. But FIU football, their recruiting looks pretty damn good. We were talking a little bit about it off camera before. We won't get much into it because we do have a special guest in mind. He may or may not be watching. We have no idea, but it is NFL prediction time.
Okay.
We have to start tracking these down,
I agree.
We'll start doing that starting. We'll go back to episode 1 and
this is a strange week in the NFL.
This is a strange week.
You have a Thursday night game, you have Saturday, and then you have Sunday.
And then is there Monday night football too?
Let me check. Yes, there is.
All right, so what a week for NFL football, and this is a very important week if you're a Dolphins fan. I mean, this last night was also extremely important. That was a must-win game. Unfortunately, they fell to the Chargers. A little roughing the passer call. I don't know if
Oh yeah,
you
the
remember,
Jalen
pretty bad
Phillips
there.
roughing the passer. We'll get to the Dolphins in a sec.
But let's start predicting as fast as we can because we're trying to keep this under an hour as usual. Dolphins and Bills. Dolphins are 8-5, entering Buffalo where it is expected to be snowing. Miami has not played a snow game yet this season. The last one they played, I believe, was against Tennessee last season, where Tua kind of got destroyed. If you remember that one, not a good game.
I remember the Buffalo game vividly as well last year as well. I can't remember if that was a snow game or not, but it looked like one from the score.
Yeah, this is the first time Miami is really going to be involved in a snow game when it comes to the Mike McDaniel era. So that should be fun to see. This is going to be a fun game. It is a primetime game on NFL Network, so everyone could watch it if you have NFL Network. Man, are the Dolphins going to win, Jake? Are they going to win their first game since 2016 at Orchard Park against the Buffalo Bills? Put themselves 9-5 with possibly then you go into play the Jets and the Patriots once again, which those should be wins. You can still secure the division. You have to keep that in mind. Miami secures the division. You're the third seed. You will be playing probably still a really good team in the AFC because this season the AFC is stacked. But a loss would put your chances of the playoffs kind of starting to slip away, I would say, because you would not, this, as I mentioned, the AFC is really damn good. Miami currently stands as the 6th seed, but I'm going to go to the standings quickly once they load. And the teams that are looking outside are pretty damn good. You have the Jets, Patriots, the Jaguars are somehow looking on the outside, and then the Raiders. I mean, all teams that are under 500, but at the moment the wild card stands Bengals, Dolphins, Chargers. Really the last team remaining, I mean, we could both agree the 2 AFC East teams, Jets and Patriots, but those teams have been pretty impressive this season. And the Jets may be slipping, though, with Mike White out. So where are you going with this, Jake?
It would be so easy, just not as a Dolphins fan, as an NFL fan, it would be so easy to disregard the Dolphins at this point. 2 straight L's. Tua has looked bad. The offense has become predictable. Mike McDaniel, he's a brand new coach, yada, yada, yada. It would be so easy to write off the Dolphins. But that's exactly why I'm going to go with them in this game. They're going to find a way. The defense is going to players like Christian Wilkins and Jalen Phillips, who have been absolute stars so far this season, they're going to find a way to quiet down the Buffalo offense. And Tua and Tyreek are going to figure it out, get it all back together, make some plays that we haven't seen before, and they're going to find a way to win this football game. Am I being delusional right now? Maybe.
No, because I am also going the Dolphins winning this one in Buffalo. I think, you think of the Dolphins, the first thing you think of is Tua and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of the run game, especially in the snow. Miami, where Mostert, you have Jeff Wilson. Hopefully he's healthy to play.
Yeah, hopefully he's back.
He didn't go down. He went down last night. We're recording this on
suffered I believe a hip injury.
Yes, so for the ones that aren't going to be watching this live, we are recording this on Monday, December 12th. So the Dolphins just wrapped up their Sunday Night Football last night. So yeah, I'm going to go Dolphins. I think it'll be probably the best game of the season when it comes for the Dolphins. I know we talked about that Week 2 Baltimore game being the best one of the season, but I think this is going to top that. I don't think it'll end with the clock running out in Buffalo trying to get back into a at least a snap formation there, but yeah, I'm going Bills. I'm going Dolphins.
Kevin.
I would be wild if I went Bills. The next game is another divisional game. This, I believe, is this is a Thursday night game. So it is 49ers and Seahawks. Seahawks just came off a very disappointing loss against the Carolina Panthers. But Brock Purdy dropped 35 on Tom Brady. So what are you going with here, Jake?
Brock is Brock the next Joe Montana? We have yet to see, but he's honestly playing like him right now, and that's kind of unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's a rookie, and his luck is going to run out. And I think it's going to run out in Lumen Field. The 12th man is going to bring it. Geno Smith has been electric. So has this entire Seahawks offense. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think Seattle will come out on top in this one.
the status of Kenneth Walker is still, unknown when it comes to will he play or not. But I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Okay.
Brock Purdy's going to keep it up. And
Pretty good.
And you still have Christian McCaffrey. You don't.
Yeah.
Is Debo out basically the rest of the season?
I don't think so. I think he's going to be out for at least a few weeks.
Definitely not playing this upcoming week.
Yeah.
So I think they'll, they're going to rely on Christian McCaffrey big time. So I'm going to go 49ers. And yeah, the Seahawks, they're a good team. Is the gas running out for Geno Smith? Who knows, But and you're playing the defense. You're playing the 49ers defense, the best defense in the NFL by arguably, many say that. So this is the other Saturday game. I think this is the morning game or the afternoon slate.
Yeah, this is
the 1:00 game. It is Colts versus Vikings. The Colts are now 4-8-1. Vikings are 10-3. They just lost T.Y. Hilton. We spoke about that.
Well, he wasn't even playing anyway. So
yeah, he wasn't playing, but a franchise icon, I guess you could say. Man, is this technically a primetime game? What do you consider this primetime on early?
It's a nationally televised game, but it's not a primetime game.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Vikings.
I'm going Vikings as well.
1 o'clock, Kirk Cousins.
Again, 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins is a menace, and I even think the Vikings are going to debut a brand new white helmet. They're going to go white out.
I saw that.
They're going to have the icy white helmets. Give me Minnesota.
Cool. Ravens and
not really much to say.
This is the 4:30 slate game.
Okay.
Ravens versus the Browns. Is Lamar playing?
I want to say yes. I want to say he's going to be in.
I'm still gonna go Ravens either way, but I believe in Tyler Huntley. So I'm taking Ravens over Browns.
I'm gonna go.
I'm looking good. So
okay, yeah. I'm gonna go Cleveland. I don't know. Deshaun Watson. I don't think he's looked very impressive, but he has a win under his belt. He's only gonna get better as he practices more and more with this team.
Okay.
And Deshaun Watson on Houston was an absolute phenomenal player, and I do think that talent will carry over to Cleveland eventually, and I think it's going to start with this game. The Ravens, I feel like the Ravens, especially for the last few weeks, have been one of the luckiest teams in the NFL in their games against Denver and Steelers. 2 games that I feel like they really should have lost, but they just didn't. So give me Cleveland here, and it would really benefit the Dolphins too if Cleveland.
Oh yeah,
it beat Baltimore.
At this point, you have to start rooting for the lower teams in the conference. So
yeah,
very quickly for the ones who want a Kyler Murray update, Ian Rappaport, as it appeared almost immediately, the fear is that Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray suffered a serious knee injury. Source said an MRI and other tests are incoming. So this could be ACL. Prayers out to Kyler Murray, phenomenal player. Unfortunately, just has not been a good year for him or the Arizona Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury could be on his way out after a very rough season. Making the playoffs. I believe they made the playoffs last season. They made it the year prior. So
yeah,
it's a tough way. A team with so much potential just didn't live up to it. So Falcons versus Saints is the next game. This is Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox. I'm taking the Falcons. Desmond Ridder is starting his first game at quarterback. This team may be a little more excited to be playing with a young QB that must be extremely excited to play out there. Going to get his first chance just to sling it out there. They're not. What are they playing for? I believe they're playing for the division at this point.
Yeah,
anyone can win that division, man. Anyone.
And it's up for grabs. And I'll go with New Orleans because
you can never doubt them.
You can't doubt the Saints. They're definitely one of those up and down teams. But at the end of the day, I mean, Desmond Ridder, really, I don't know.
Okay. Steelers versus Panthers. I'm going to go with the Panthers. I like what I saw from Sam Darnold. They went out into Lumen Field and beat the Seahawks convincingly. Convincingly, I repeat. So, and, Sam Darnold described this team as a run-first offense. Chuba Hubbard down to Foreman. They look pretty good. So let's see what happens. I really do like the Panthers here. Kenny Pickett, I guess, is still adjusting. Was it Mitch Trubisky last week?
Yeah, it was Mitch because I believe Kenny got concussed in that game, and they put in Money Mitch. Whether it's Mitch or their third string Mason Rudolph, or even if it is Kenny Pickett,
Rudolph is on that team.
Yeah,
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Nah, I'll go Carolina.
All right. All right, this one should be a quick pick, unless you're gonna go upset here, which would surprise me. Eagles versus Bears. The Eagles are 12-1. I've already clinched a playoff spot. The Bears are 3-10, looking to get the number 1 overall pick. Who are you going for?
I just feel so bad for Justin Fields. I think he could be an incredible quarterback if he had a team around him. But he doesn't, and he's playing the best team in football. I didn't know if I felt like the Eagles were the best team in football, but the more I watch them, the more I realize this is one of the most complete teams I think I've ever seen. So give me Philadelphia.
I'm taking Philadelphia as well.
Mhm.
Chiefs versus Texans. Yeah. I mean, we're both gonna say Chiefs, right?
Mahomes, yeah.
Okay. Cowboys versus Jaguars. I'm gonna take the upset. I'm taking the Jaguars here.
That is a great upset. Dallas. I mean, to be fair, they just got T.Y. Hilton, right? They just got T.Y.
And they almost
they added another weapon to their offense. But they didn't look that great against Houston. And maybe, that was the premier game for the Texans. That was the game they gave it their 110%. But I'm going to go Cowboys in a close one. I think the Jaguars make it interesting, but the Cowboys will run away with it in the end.
Okay. Jets versus Lions. This is going to be a fun game, man. If it's Zach Wilson or Mike White or Joe Flacco, this is going to be a fun game. Two very young teams aspiring to make the playoffs. Dan Campbell rallying this Detroit Lions team. I'm going to the Lions. I really love this team. I've said this many times. I love the Detroit Lions. This is one of my favorite teams in the NFL. One of the most fun teams to watch with, just Dan Campbell, former Dolphins coach. I really like Detroit, and I'm going to take the Lions. And especially with the uncertainty of Mike White, you don't know if he's going to play or not this upcoming week. I assume he will, but keep in mind, he played with fractured ribs and was immediately taken to a hospital right after the game. So you don't know if it'll be Zach Wilson, who probably won't even be ready to play just in terms of mentally and getting physically prepared for this game. And we don't even know if Joe Flacco's ready, because I believe when he came in for the two small plays, he fumbled once. So I'm taking Detroit.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions as well. You realize if the Lions win out and some other teams lose, they can get into the damn playoffs.
I would love to see an underdog story.
Not to mention, again, this is another game that would benefit the Dolphins a lot if Detroit beat the Jets. A lot. Yeah. So give me Detroit.
All right, this should be an interesting game. Cardinals versus Broncos. Now, we just saw Kyler go down. So it would be Colton McCoy versus Brent Ripken if Russ is still in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So I'm taking Arizona, though.
This is going to be, as far as the quarterback battle goes, this is going to be unbearable.
The toilet bowl, man.
Yeah. If it's going to be backup quarterback against backup quarterback, it's going to come down to who has the better defense. And in this case, it's Denver. So I'm going to take the Broncos.
Okay. Patriots and Raiders, another game where a Patriots loss would benefit Miami. But unfortunately, I don't see that happening. I'm taking the Patriots against the Raiders here. Hey, former coach Josh McDaniels against Bill Belichick.
And you know what? I'm going to go upset here. I'll go Las Vegas. The games that they've played recently, I think the Raiders have gotten a bit better since the beginning of this season. They're still figuring it out. They had that tough loss against the LA Rams, but prior to that, they knocked off the Chargers, a team that Miami couldn't beat. So give me the Raiders in an upset.
And shout out to the Miami Heat beating the Indiana Pacers.
Hey.
I'll tell you the final score, 87-82. They were up 19 at one point. Miami always does this, man, where they're up by a large margin and then they blow it. But Miami kept the lead and they won there. So shout out to them. Titans versus Chargers. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that's like the return game for Oladipo, right?
Return to Indiana. Yeah. Titans versus Chargers. The Titans are a mess, man. You see them, they're 7-6 and all of that, but they fired their general manager. Mm-hmm. This team kind of looks like a mess, in my opinion, at least. They just released a good amount of players today, 3 players to be exact. The Chargers are coming off the highs of beating the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. Unfortunately, I'm going to take the Chargers here.
I agree. And if the Dolphins do get into the playoffs, I hope they play Tennessee. I hope they play Tennessee.
Yeah,
That's
Tennessee
the team
would
I
win
can
the
see
division.
Miami beating.
Tennessee would win the division. Yeah.
Yeah, because like
Well, would Miami play Tennessee at Miami or in Tennessee?
no,
Because
it would be in Nashville because they're the division winner. But
that's pretty bad.
still, I think that's going to be the best chance for Miami if they
Yeah,
want
but
to win a playoff game. Instead of playing Kansas City, Cincinnati, even the Kansas City, Cincinnati, or Tennessee, between those three teams, I would rather Miami play the Titans. So I don't know. I still think, as a Dolphins fan who has seen Ryan Tannehill for 7 years, he's just not going to win you the big game. He's just not. So give me Los Angeles.
Devontae Parker and Jack Jones are out, so there are more injuries on that Monday night game.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get Gus on here to do these NFL predictions, man. If you're watching Gus, we're gonna get you on very, very soon to do these.
What is it? The NFL Stradamus?
No, that's Edwin. That's Edwin.
Oh, that's Edwin. Oops, sorry, Gus. Shout out to Edwin, the NFL Stradamus.
They're live tomorrow, so right here in this YouTube channel. If you're watching, they'll be live tomorrow. Probably making these exact picks. So we're gonna continue. Bengals versus Bucks. Tom Brady versus Joe Burrow. This should be a very interesting matchup. This is in Tampa. Brock Purdy just destroyed, Tampa Bay defense. Not Tom Brady, the defense. That's why I'm going to take the Bengals. Unfortunately, because once again, not helping Miami's case too much. But I'll take Cincinnati here.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Brady could have had a better send-off tour than this.
I want to see the Panthers make the playoffs too, man.
Oh, yeah. I feel like Brady could have had a better send-off tour than this. That is assuming he's even going to leave. Now they're saying he might stay another year, or I don't know. But I'll go with Cincinnati. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are just going crazy, and there's not many teams I think who could stop them this time of the year. And I thought the same thing last year, and they got all the way to the Super Bowl. So give me Cincinnati.
This should be a fun game. Giants and Commanders, they just tied recently, so they're 7-5-1. The division currently stands with them both tied at that third spot, I guess you could say. Winner would basically take sole possession of third place. Still in the playoffs, but he just want to let you guys know, this NFC is so bad that the whole division's in the playoff currently. So yeah, the 3 wildcard spots are taken up by Dallas, the Commanders, and Giants. So it really doesn't matter. The only team really looking out on the outside end would be Seattle and Detroit and Carolina Falcons. I really don't think Green Bay is going to get in this year, in my opinion, at least. Jake, can we go another tie? No, I'm joking.
No.
I'll take the Commanders.
Yeah, this is a little easier a pick for me. Eagles blew out the Giants. The Commanders beat the Eagles. Therefore, the Commanders beat the Giants. There you go.
I like the way you think. And then the Monday night game, another, I guess, toilet bowl type game. Rams versus Packers. I'm going to take the Packers. Rams are rolling out with, but they have Baker Mayfield. It's gonna be, I don't know. Baker looks good with the Rams.
Yeah,
that's actually another discussion we'll get into just right before.
I think it's a little too late for the Rams in the playoffs. I think it's a bit too late.
Yeah. It's definitely late. But I wanted to bring up the conversation that, does Baker take over this team if he plays well enough?
I don't see why not. I've always liked Baker Mayfield.
But what do you do with Matt Stafford? Do you trade him away?
I don't know.
Trade him
he just won you a damn championship. You can't just send him out like that.
And keep in mind, Sean McVay is going to stay if, that championship core stayed. If you see Aaron Donald retiring, you see Matt Stafford get traded, Jalen Ramsey go out the door, Sean McVay's out, and you have to find yourself a new coach.
Yeah. So with all that said, give me Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm taking the Packers. That was a pretty easy one. And that is what we will wrap it up, Jake. I think next week we have a cool plan for who we want on. We kind of have that decided. We're going to be talking FIU football, so you can make your predictions off of that. Maybe he's watching, maybe he's not, but I'll get in contact with him this week, and we'll get that going. Once again, huge thank you to Coach Kyle Russell for joining. That was an extremely good interview. I think what we could do, Jake, is clip that interview, post it as a separate video, then have this whole live stream, which many will be watching as soon after. We want to thank you. We broke, was it 300 views on Twitter, Jake?
Yeah, we got like I'll check the viewer now, but
it should be higher.
It was in the 330s last I checked, and that is unreal for our first or our not first. We can't forget
first live stream.
Our second live stream.
Oh, was our second one?
What was the Jonathan Mayer one not live, or
it was not live?
No, it was not live. You are correct. Well, oh yeah, 339 as it currently says. I'm gonna watch it again and I'll make it 340. There we go. All right, 340.
Alrighty, and you guys heard that intro music. We've hit the hour marker. Any last words, Jake?
Just again, thank you so much to Kyle Russell, and if you're an FIU student, keep supporting this FIU men's soccer team. I guarantee you they're not going to let you down.
And very quickly, FIU women's plays tomorrow in Boca. So if anyone's interested or you're in the Boca area, you could go support your FIU women's basketball team. So they'll be playing the Owls there. I guess you could say another Shula rivalry there.
Mm-hmm. Scott made a big part of that. Support your Panthers. That's what we're here for, and that's what we want to see you all do as well.
And I believe, what's it called? The Panther Club. You guys could support that.
Club. By the way, also, I just remembered, if any of you out there want to say hey to us, to ourselves, our superstars, Jake and Kevin, we will be at the FIU men's basketball game coming up, I believe, next week. On Wednesday.
Next week?
Yeah.
Ooh, Wednesday, the 21st.
Yeah, next week, on the 23rd.
23rd, okay, thank God.
Yeah, let me double check that. But we're going to be taking on Incarnate Word. I believe that's how you say it. Yeah, Wednesday, December 21st at 7.
Okay, sounds good. That should be a good one. So if you want to say hey, you want to see us there, we'll be there. Once again, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys all in the next one. From Jake, myself, Kyle, who was here, Gus, and Edward, as always, thank you for giving us that opportunity to be on here. Peace out and paws up.
Paws up.
And that is right where we will end it.